Let me start with what some people like to portray as terrible news for the environment. It relates to the Great Barrier Reef, which, like polar bears, I guess, is often used as the kind of poster child for climate alarmism. I mean, it is a thing of beauty, of course. It's a natural wonder. It's world famous, and surely no one wants it damaged or destroyed. But the climate alarmists constantly tell us that the Great Barrier Reef is about to die. Remember more than a decade ago when the US President Barack Obama visited Brisbane and he couldn't help but undermine the reputation of our wonderful natural asset as he hyped up the climate threat.
Because I have not had time to go to the Great Barrier Reef, and I want to come back, and I want my daughters to be able to come back, and I want them to be able to bring their daughters or sons to visit. And I want that there 50 years from now.
Yeah, well, the reef's still there, but I don't think anyone's seen the Obamas. Every year or so, we're told the reef is on the edge. It's like the tipping points we keep hearing about for global warming. 3 decades ago, 2 decades ago, a decade ago, and now there's always a tipping point for climate action. Anyway, if you read the Sydney Morning Herald today, you'd be worried about the reef. Record coral decline and mass bleaching was the headline as they focused on global warming and they reported the latest scientific assessment of the reef. The paper's climate alarmist-in-chief Nick O'Malley told us the reef suffered the largest annual decline in coral cover in 2 of the 3 regions over 39 years of monitoring, and this was due to climate change-induced heat stress causing mass bleaching. Sounds dire, doesn't it? And if you look at the ABC's headline reporting the same data, it cites an ecosystem under stress. Well, which ecosystem isn't, I would ask? An ecosystem, by definition, is a complex web of competing stresses. But even the ABC, yes, even the climate catastrophists at the ABC could not avoid the central fact of the latest survey, telling us that while the coral losses were significant, they came off a high base, with observed coral cover now sitting at near to long-term average levels. So that's the story, hey? The reef is actually in normal condition. I mean, we've heard reports of at least 6 major bleaching events over the past decade, and the reef is still in good condition. So it's actually a story of natural resilience, isn't it? A natural wonder doing what it's done for millennia, weathering the storms and thriving. And sure enough, in The Australian, we heard from reef expert Professor Peter Ridd, who lost his job at a university because he wouldn't bend to the climate alarmism zeitgeist. Sticking to the facts, Ridd told us that the normalised coral cover dropped from a record high number, but there is still twice as much coral as in 2012. The raw coral cover number for all of the last 5 years has been higher than any of the previous years since records began in 1985. Worth repeating that, isn't it? The coral cover of the Great Barrier Reef now and over the past 5 years is better than at any time over 4 decades of monitoring since before the global warming scare was cranked up. That is unashamedly good news. We've got to look after it to be sure, but the reef is doing just fine at the moment, which means Barack Obama and his family might still get the chance to see it if they could ever bother to getting around to it.